So today we are going to discuss about reflection. Okay, so our syllabus start from the reflection of light by a spherical surface. See, in the last lecture, okay, so we have taken a brief explanation about various types of phenomena like rectilinear propagation of light. We says that light travels in a straight line. Then you have the phenomena by the name called reflection. Okay, so first we have some rectilinear, the phenomena by the name called rectilinear propagation of light. Then uh, we have a discussion on reflection. Then there are other certain phenomena like refraction. Then it is interference. Okay, so diffraction and polarization. So these are some of the phenomena we are going to discuss in our particular lectures. Okay, so see here again in optics. Optics means what? The branch of physics which deals with the study of light. Okay, so study in the sense it may be its physical nature, the phenomena, the relation between the physical quantities which is needed for the explanation of phenomena in optics. Okay, so it is now this optics is broadly classified into, so we in our particular section we are classifying optics into two categories here. One is called ray optics, second is called wave optics. And our the first topic is about ray optics and the optical instruments. Okay, so in the second topic we are going to discuss about wave optics. Ray optics means, see, why you are classifying this optics into two categories here. One is ray and second is wave. The reason is, now see here, ray optics in higher level books it is also called as geometrical optics. Why we are calling it as ray optics? Now see here, to explain the phenomena like rectilinear, reflection and refraction, see, and some other phenomena like dispersion, scattering. Okay, so to explain these particular phenomena, see, we are interested in the path of light. The path of light is enough. What is meant by reflection? This is called reflection. A light is incident on a mirror. If it goes back to the same medium, then we call that phenomena as reflection. If it goes to the other medium, then we call that phenomena as refraction. To explain reflection and refraction, now see here, the direction of light is enough. Okay, are you getting me? And light travels in a straight line. Okay, as the light travels in a straight line, so I'm drawing a straight line. Simply I am drawing an array, a single ray. Okay, so therefore now this particular optics we call it as ray optics. By drawing a single ray, I can easily explain reflection, refraction, the derivations. We can say that the focal length is half of the radius of curvature. Okay, we can explain the phenomena like dispersion, the phenomena like scattering. Okay, they can be easily explained by considering a straight line or considering a single ray. Therefore, we call it as ray optics. Okay, so during this discussion, now this phenomena doesn't depend on the physical nature of light. What is meant by physical nature of light? So Maxwell says that, James Clerk Maxwell, he says that light is in the form of electromagnetic wave. They are transverse. Okay, they are electromagnetic wave. They are transverse wave. If I draw one particular electric field or magnetic field, somewhat the shape is like this. Okay, so now this is called a wave. The length of one wave is called wavelength. Okay, now these are the characteristics of a wave. Now this maximum displacement is nothing but on the one side is called amplitude. Number of waves per second is called frequency. Okay, so one wave differ from the other wave. The X-ray is different from the gamma. Okay, micro, radio. The difference is due to their frequency, due to their wavelength. Okay, so now these are the physical quantities: amplitude, wavelength, frequency, period, phase. Now that is called physical nature. Are you getting me? The physical nature of our body is our height, our weight. Now this is called the physical nature. Okay, so we have the characteristic. That is some psychological phenomena. Physical nature means the appearance. Okay, so now this is the appearance of an wave. Okay, one wave is different from the other wave. uh, Means that may be the difference is due to amplitude, or the difference is due to wavelength, the difference is due to the frequency, like that. Okay, so what is meant by interference? Interference means the modification and distribution of light intensity due to superposition of two light waves. Interference means two light waves superpose. Now this condition is there. Now that two light waves should have the same frequency. They should have the zero or constant phase difference. Therefore, interference take place between the two waves which are having the same frequency. That means to explain the interference, I must know the physical nature, like the amplitude of the two waves, the frequency of the two waves, the phase difference between the two waves. Therefore, to explain the interference, I have to draw the nature of light, physical nature of light. That means I have to draw in terms of an wave. What is meant by diffraction? The bending of light around the edges or obstacle. When the light bends, no condition is there, the bending of light around the edges or obstacle when the wavelength of light is comparable to the size of the obstacle. Okay, when the wavelength of light is comparable to size of the obstacle, then only the light bends. So diffraction is decided by the wavelength of that particular light. That means you must know the physical nature of light, like its wavelength. Okay, so similarly for the polarization. So therefore, interference, diffraction, and polarization, and the some other phenomena like Malus law, Brevester's law, to explain that particular phenomenon, I should know the physical nature of light. Therefore, now this particular optics. Okay, so we have to take the physical nature of wave. I have to draw the wave there. Therefore, it is called wave optics. And to explain rectilinear, dispersion, refraction, total internal reflection, refraction. See, only a ray is enough. A single ray is enough. Therefore, we call this particular section as ray optics. Okay, so it is simple. So we have divided into two optics. Optics is divided into two here, two sections here. One is called ray optics, second is called wave optics. A single ray is enough to explain the phenomena. So we take that particular phenomena in one topic, that is called ray optics. Now, complete physical nature is required, the wave nature is required, then we call that particular optics as wave optics. Okay, so in optics, in the second PU, we have the two topics here. In the first topic, it is a ray, and second topic, it is called wave optics. Ray optics is also called as geometrical optics. The reason is very simple. We are using the geometry, the simple geometries, okay, 8th, 9th, 10th geometries and trigonometries of 11th and 12th. So we are taking the help of geometry to explain that particular phenomenon, particular derivation. Therefore, it is also called as a geometrical optics. Ray optics or geometrical optics. Okay, so in the ray optics, our first topic is what? The reflection. Okay, our first discussion is reflection of light. So you started this discussion of reflection of light. Maybe I think that in the ninth standard, some brief discussion on the reflection of light through mirrors. They are very simple, but in the second PU, we are starting our discussion with a reflection of light by spherical mirrors. Okay, so we are using the spherical surfaces here. Now, our syllabus starts from the spherical surface, not from the plane mirrors. Okay, for the plane mirrors, the explanation is very simple here. So, reflection. Okay, so let me start with The first phenomenon of light called reflection. What is meant by reflection? Okay, you know that. Okay, so you can see your image in a mirror. Okay, you are the object, you are this particular person. In optics we call it as object. Okay, so if you see uh, something behind the mirror, you can see that uh, certain person is there who look like same. So that is your image. So you are the object, and on the picture on the other side of the mirror is called image. Object and image. Why this uh, image take place? The reason is, now that particular phenomenon we call it as reflection. Okay, light falls on your body, it falls on the mirror, they get reflected, it falls on the retina, therefore you are going to see your own body. Okay, you are the object and you are seeing your same object. When light falls on the particular, okay, substance called mirror, then only the reflection takes place. Okay, you observe your image only on the mirror, and mirror has the property of reflection. Okay, if you take this mirror, you know that the glass, how the mirror is created. Now see, some glass is there, the glass is a transparent one, so therefore one side of the glass is coated with a silver coating, that is the best reflector, or okay, so some other material in such a way that that particular medium becomes opaque, it doesn't transmit light to the other side. So when light falls on it, okay, you can see here, when the light falls on it, okay, when the light falls on it, so in ray optics, we are going to take a particular ray that is called monochromatic light. Chroma means color, mono means single color. Okay, so let me take a single light here. So when light falls on it, then it gets, okay, let me take it. This is a medium 1. For an example, this is air medium and this is medium 2. Other medium is there. So light is coming from medium 1. It falls on the mirror. If it goes back to the same medium, now that phenomena we call it as reflection. Okay, light falls on the object. After that phenomena, if it goes to the same medium, then we start calling that phenomena as reflection. Okay, it is very simple. Okay, so now this is a definition used in the lower class. But reflection, it is a systematic phenomena. Okay, you have the phenomena by the name called scattering. Scattering is not a systematic phenomenon, but a reflection is a very systematic phenomena. Light falls on the object, if it goes to the same medium. Okay, in lower level they say that now this phenomena is called reflection. But reflection has to satisfy certain laws. Then only I call that phenomena as reflection. Okay, otherwise it may be scattering also, the other phenomena also. So reflection should obey certain laws, and that laws are called laws of reflection. Laws of reflection. Okay, so the reflection should obey certain laws, and that laws are called laws of reflection. Okay, before that, so let me take certain naming here. So we are taking certain, okay, so important quantities. Okay, so now this is called, now see, so this particular ray is called, okay, so this ray, okay, this particular ray is called incident ray. Incident ray, the ray which is incident ray on the mirror is called incident ray, and it get, this phenomena is called reflection. Therefore this particular ray is called reflected ray. This is called reflected ray. So this is incident ray and this one is the reflected ray, and this incident ray falls one point on the mirror. Now that point is called point of incidence. Point of incidence. This particular point is called point of incidence. So this is called incident ray, this is called point of incidence, and this one is called reflected ray. See, in ray optics, okay, so you know that any topic which has certain measurement, which has certain physical quantities, and the phenomena are explained based on that physical quantities. We are giving the, or we are deriving the relation between their physical quantities. Okay, in optics, now see here, uh, which is the physical quantity which is used to explain the reflection. So we are using the quantities like angles. Okay, we are not using the length of the light here. Okay, we are not using the distance traveled by the light here. We are using the angles here. Okay, now you can see here. So see, we require certain physical measurements, and we are using the physical measurement as an angle. So what we are doing is here, see, we are imagine, okay, we are taking some imaginary line. So therefore I represent this line by dots like this. Okay, so let me draw one imaginary line. Okay, this is imaginary line. Okay, now this line actually doesn't present in, practically doesn't present here. Okay, so therefore I am going to represent in terms of an dotted line. So this imaginary line, it should be perpendicular to the mirror. Okay, now this particular imaginary line should be equal to, that should be perpendicular to the surface, perpendicular to the mirror. Okay, and it should pass through the point of incidence. For the sake of measurement of an quantity, we are using a line, it is an imaginary line which passes through the point of incidence, and that line should be perpendicular to the surface. Now that particular line is called normal. So this line is called normal, and all the measurements are done with okay, so from this particular normal. Now see here, you can see here, so this is an incident ray, so this one is the normal. You can see that, so there is some angle is there. Okay, you can see here, there is some angle between incident ray and the normal. Okay, now this angle is called, it is represented by I, small I, and this angle is called, I is called angle of incidence. This angle is called angle of incidence. Angle between normal and the incident ray is called angle of incidence. Okay, so this is an angle. Similarly, you can see here, so there is some angle is there. See, one more angle is there. Now, this is the angle between normal and the reflected ray. Okay, now this is the angle between normal and the reflected ray. Now, this angle is represented by R. Okay, now this angle is represented by R, and R is called, so this angle R is called, this is nothing but angle of reflection. So this angle is called angle of reflection. Okay, so which is the measuring quantity here? Angle of incidence and angle of reflection. You can see that. Okay, so if you put this light in this particular direction, so this may be the angle of incidence. Okay, so if you change the direction of light, that means you are changing the angle of incidence. Okay, so now these are the certain naming here. Now this is called incident ray. So this one is called reflected ray. This imaginary line is called normal, and this is a point of intersection, that is called point of incidence. So I is called angle of incidence, and R is called angle of reflection. Okay, now this is about reflection. Okay, so what is meant by reflection? If light falls on a mirror, if it goes to the same medium, then we call that phenomenon as reflection. But reflection is a systematic phenomena. It should obey certain laws here, and there are mainly two laws here. You have the two laws for reflection. Law number one. Okay, so if the reflection should take place, it should satisfy two laws. Law number one. Law number one says that, you can see here, this incident ray, this reflected ray, and the normal, they must lie on the same plane. You can see here, this is plane, this is a board, plane of the board, and you can see here I have drawn this incident ray, normal and reflected on the same plane. Okay, so this condition should be satisfied if this is like this. So this is the incident ray, if its light is going this in this particular plane here, okay, not along like this, so it is moving on this particular plane. Okay, if I take this axis as x-axis, okay, so if I take this one as x-axis, this one has y-axis, so this is the plane which contains x and y. Okay, your incident ray is in x and y, your normal is also in x and y, but your reflected ray is in the some other plane, some other xz plane, and I can't say that it is a reflection phenomena. Okay, so reflection means what? Your incident, your normal and your reflected ray should lie on the, they must lie on the same plane. Okay, if incident lie in the some other plane and your reflected ray is lie in the some other plane, then it is not an reflection, it is an irregular phenomena. Either you call it as scattering or some other like this. Are you getting me? It is very simple. Your incident ray, your normal and your reflected ray, they must lie on the same plane. Okay, now this is first law. Incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal must lie, they must lie on the same plane. They must lie on the same plane. Okay, and this is the first important law that should obey reflection. Second one is, you can see here there are two angles here, angle of incidence and angle of reflection. Okay, we call the phenomena as a reflection only when your angle of incidence should be equal to angle of reflection. The second law here. Okay, so for an example, if your angle of incidence is 30°, your angle of reflection should also be 30°. If this is 30, the other angle is also 30, then I can say that reflection. If this is 30 and this is some other 40, then we can't say that that particular phenomena is an reflection. Are you getting me? Okay, reflection means what? Your angle of incidence should be equal to angle of reflection. This is the second one. Angle of incidence, okay, should be equal to, it should be equal to angle of reflection. Angle of incidence should be equal to angle of reflection. If these two conditions are satisfied, then I can say that the phenomenon is said to be reflection. Okay, now this is called laws of reflection. Incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal must lie on the same plane. This is first law. Second law says that angle of incidence should be equal to angle of reflection. Okay, so this is about, okay, so reflection, the definition of reflection, and the laws corresponding to reflection. So what our discussion is about, our in second PU, we are directly going to study reflection by a spherical mirror. Okay, so our discussion is about reflection. We are not interested in plane mirrors. Plane mirror is very simple one. Therefore, reflection of light by spherical mirrors like convex and concave mirrors. Okay, spherical mirror. Okay, so our discussion is about reflection of light by spherical mirrors. Okay, now you can see here. So spherical mirrors. Okay, spherical mirrors means what? These are the mirrors which are part of this sphere. Now you can see that. What is sphere? Okay, this is in 2 dimension. It look like circle. But okay, but if we take a 3 dimension, then it is an sphere. Okay, if we take the part of this sphere, you can see here. Now if we take the part of this sphere. Okay, so sphere means what? It has got certain center. Now this is center of the sphere. If you take only a part of the sphere, then it is called curvature. You know that it is called curvature automatically. Now this C is called center of curvature. So automatically it becomes a center of curvature. Okay. Now see here, so it is a spherical surface, a glass, a transparent one. If you coat a silver coating or some other coating on uh, outer side of this imaginary part of this sphere, okay, so like this, okay, if you coat silver coat on the outer side of the spherical surface, now that mirror we call it as concave mirror. Okay, based on the coating. Okay, if you change the coating on the other side, automatically the phenomena become different. The real image becomes a virtual image. The size of the image changes, the position of the image changes, simply depends on the coating. Therefore we have the two type of mirror. Now this mirror is called concave mirror. Now similarly, same spherical surface, if you make the coating on inner side of the mirror, okay, if you coat on the inner side of the mirror, then that particular mirror is called convex mirror. Okay, so there may be two possibilities. If you coat on the outer side, then it becomes a concave mirror. If you coat in the inner side, then it becomes a convex mirror. Okay, so our discussion is about spherical mirror, and in spherical mirror we have two types. Okay, so it may be concave or it may be convex mirror. So before going to the okay, so discussion about these mirrors, so we require sign convention. Sign convention. Sign convention. Okay, why these sign conventions are required? You know that in certain topics. Okay, we require sign convention. Okay, so sign conventions are required. So the sign conventions required where the flow is in the both the direction. Okay, movement is in both the direction. Then we require sign convention. For an example, okay, so if you take the particular example like this, okay, you have some a water tank and there are two pipes here. One is called inlet pipe is there. Second is called outlet pipe is there. Okay, now this is inlet pipe. This is outlet pipe. Let me imagine that. Okay, so some problem is that. So 10 liter of water enters the tank in 1 second, and at the same time 5 liters of water is going, okay, so to the surrounding by the outlet in 1 second. If the question is like this, in 1 second, what is the water left? What is the water remaining in the tank? Then definitely we say that the answer is 5. Okay, so if you want to okay, so give some mathematical calculations here, then we say that, so this is 10 minus 5, we call it as 5. In 1 second 10 liter of water is entering, and at the same time the 5 liter of water is moving outside the tank, therefore the water left in the tank is the 5. Okay, now you can see here we have followed certain sign convention here. We have taken this one as plus and this one as minus. Okay, we are taking the water entering into the tank is taken as positive, and water leaving from the tank is taken as the negative. We have followed certain, unknowingly we have followed certain sign convention. Okay, so we are saying that, see, I have some sign convention. Okay, so plus and minus for this particular problem. If water is entering into the tank, let us take it as positive, and if water is leaving from the tank, then take it as negative. Okay, now these are called sign convention. If you use that particular plus and minus, then only you can explain. Okay, now this particular problem, this is called sign convention. So where the sign convention is required, if the flow is in the both the direction. Okay, if it is single direction, then there is no need here. If 10 plus 10 is entering, 5 is entering, then what is total? It is 10 plus 5. So simply, if the water is in the both direction, if it is entering and it is leaving in somewhere, then we require some plus and minus. They are called sign convention. Similarly, light can travel in all the possible directions. Therefore, we require certain sign conventions here, and there are, okay, so various types of sign conventions are there. So we are using, okay, Cartesian sign convention. We are using the Cartesian sign convention. In BSc, you are using some Newtonian optics, where you are going to use some other sign convention. Okay, so in BSc, they are measuring the distance from the principal focus like this. So they have certain sign convention. So now that is called Newtonian optics. In PU, we are following Cartesian sign convention. Okay, so what does this Cartesian sign convention says? Now see, this is a mirror. For the sake of explanation, let me take a concave mirror. Now see here, this sign convention is applicable for both. But for the sake of discussion, let me take a concave mirror. What is concave mirror? Concave mirror is nothing but, oh, what is mirror? What is spherical mirror? They are nothing but the part of the sphere. I can say this is a part of the sphere. A sphere means what? It has got certain center C. That C is called center of the sphere. But I have taken only the part of the sphere. Therefore, we call it as the curvature. Okay, and C is called center of curvature. Center of curvature is nothing but the center of the imaginary sphere. Okay. So now here is one more center is there. Okay, now this is a curvature. Now this curvature may have certain geometrical center. Are you getting me? So this is the center of the curvature. Okay, so here now see here, if this length is 10 centimeter, okay, this particular length is 10 centimeter, then this is a particular point which is 5 centimeter from both the end, then I can say that this is some geometrical center of this particular mirror, and that geometrical center is called pole. Okay, now this geometrical center is called pole. Center of curvature is the center of that particular curvature, particular that part of the imaginary sphere, and pole is nothing but the geometrical center of the curvature. Is it correct? Are you getting me? Okay, now see here. So this is C, this is P. Okay, and the line which passes through, okay, now this is an imaginary line. Okay, I am drawing some line which passes through C and P. Okay, you can see that. Now CP is nothing but what? Radius. It is nothing but radius. C is the center and P is that point here, and this distance is nothing but it's a radius only, definitely. Okay. So now this line, the line which passes through center of curvature and pole is called principal axis. This is called principal axis. The axis which passes through center of curvature and pole is called principal axis. Okay, is it correct? Okay, now see here. So now this is called principal axis. The line which passes through center of curvature and pole is called principal axis. Now what does this line? Okay, so what this sign convention says here? Okay, so let me assume that so light is traveling in this particular direction. Okay, so this is the direction of incident light. Okay, let me assume that this is okay. So light is traveling in this particular direction, the direction of incident light. Okay, this is the direction of incident. Our light is moving from left to right. Okay, this is the direction of incident light here. Okay, so let me start the sign convention, Cartesian sign convention, the condition number 1, that is Cartesian sign convention says that. Okay, so let me imagine that. Okay, some object is there. Okay, so here see, okay, so our actually to study the reflection we have to connect the physical quantities like focal length, radius of curvature, object distance and image distance. Okay, now that particular terms, that particular derivations, okay, we are going to discuss in the next lecture. In today's class we have to focus on the sign convention. Okay, now see here, rule says that see your object distance, the distance from, okay, then that is nothing but the distance of the object, the distance of the image, the focal length, the distance of the principal focus. You see, the rule says that now there are 2 points here, one is C and second is P. C is the center of curvature and P is the pole, that is geometrical center of the curvature. According to Cartesian sign convention, so Newton optics says that focus, okay, they are using the focus here, but in Cartesian sign convention we are taking the reference point as pole. Okay, our reference point as an pole. So all distances are measured from the pole. Okay, your all distances, Okay, in the next class we are measuring the object distance, we are measuring the image distance, and all that distances are measured from the pole here. Now this is first rule. The rule says that, the Cartesian sign convention says that all distances are measured from the pole. Okay, all distances are measured from the pole. For an example, somewhere here your object is there. Okay, so somewhere the object is there. Let me call this object as AB. AB. Okay, if I consider AB is some position of the object, so the distance is measured from pole. You have to measure the distance from the pole here. Okay, so P to B, some 10 centimeter or 15 centimeter, like this. So this is the first rule. All distances are measured from the pole. Okay, the condition number 2 is, so now see here, the distances measured in the same direction of incident light are taken as positive. Okay, for an example, now see here, so your object is somewhere here. Now let me look at AB is the position of the object now. So all the distance are measured from the pole. Okay, so therefore, so you start measuring the distance from the P here. Okay, you are going in this particular direction. You are moving from pole to object. So this is your direction of measurement. The distance measured in the same direction as the incident light are taken as positive. Okay, now see here. So you are moving this particular direction. All the distance are measured from the pole. So this is pole here. So you are moving towards the object. So this is your direction of measurement, and this is the direction of incident light. Okay, light is coming like this. So the direction of measurement and the direction of incident light are same. If these are same, then this distance is taken as positive. Are you getting me? If for an example, if this particular distance is some 5 centimeter, then this 5 centimeter is taken as positive. Okay, your direction of measurement, the rule number 1 says that all distance are measured from the pole. So P is your starting point. Okay, I am moving from P to B. I am moving like this. I am moving from left to right. And what is the direction of incident light? The direction of incident light is also left to right. Therefore, the direction of measurement and the direction of incident light are same, then that distance is taken as positive. Look at this one more figure here. Okay, let me assume that one more object is there, AB. Okay, so rule number 1 says that all distance are measured from the pole. Therefore, your starting point is P and you are moving towards some B. Okay, let me take this A dash and B dash. You are moving towards B dash. Okay, so I measure the distance here from P to B, some 15 centimeter is there. So this is your direction of measurement. Okay, now this is your direction of measurement. Your direction of measurement is from right to left, and your direction of light is from left to right. So if your direction of measurement and the direction of incident light are opposite, then that particular distance is taken as negative. Now you can see here, this is the direction of incident light and this is the direction of measurement. The direction of incident light and the direction of measurement are opposite. In that case, that particular distance is taken as negative. Okay, are you getting me? The direction of measurement and the direction of incident light are in the same direction, then that particular distance is taken as positive. If your direction of incident light and the direction of measurement are opposite, then that particular distance is taken as negative. Now this is second sign convention. Okay, third sign convention. Now this is third sign. What does this third sign convention says? So it's called Cartesian sign convention. We are using certain Cartesian coordinates, like we are using the graph, something like this. You know that. So this, if you look at here, if you consider, just imagine like a graph. Okay, so in graph you say that this axis is an x-axis. So this one is called y-axis. So this is minus x. This is called minus y. Correct? Okay, so you know that. So this is positive, y is negative, so this is negative. Okay, so you consider like this. So in the same manner, so you can see it. Let me take two objects here. Okay, one is AB. Okay, this time AB is like this. Somewhat it is inverted. So the third sign convention says the height measured in the upward direction. Now see, this object has certain heights. Let me take the various object here. The one more object is there. Okay, A double dash, B double dash. Okay, you can see here there are. Okay, so the object may have certain height. Someone may be taller, someone may be smaller, like this. Okay, so let me take. So this is some. Okay, 6 centimeter. So this is some 15 centimeter. This is some 8 centimeter, like this. So what is the height of this A dash B dash? 15. What is the height of A dash and B dash? 6 centimeter. And the height of AB is 8 centimeter. Again, this 8, 6 and 15 may be positive, may be negative. So what does this Cartesian sign convention says that the height measures upward with respect to the x-axis normal to the principal axis of the mirror are taken as positive. You can see that. Okay, so now this is the principal axis. Okay, what is normal? Normal means the line which is perpendicular to the surface. Okay, now this is normal. You can see that the height measured in the upward with respect to x-axis. Now this is x-axis. Now this is normal. If you're measuring the height upward with respect to the x-axis, then that distances are taken as positive. That means what? 15 is positive, 6 is positive. 15 and 6 are positive quantities because you are measuring, you are moving in the upward direction. If the height measured in the downwards are taken as negative. Okay, you are moving downward with respect to the x-axis. Now this is x-axis, this is upward direction, this one is the downward direction. If you are moving in the downward direction, that quantity is taken as negative. That means your 8 centimeter is not 8 centimeter, but it is minus 8 centimeter. Oh, this is very important. The sign convention is very important in derivations or in the problems. Okay, so everywhere in ray optics we have to follow the sign convention. Okay, so my dear students, please, okay, so make a clear picture of the sign convention. Please go through this sign convention. It is very important. Okay, if you want to go for derivations, if you are deriving your, okay, so you are simplifying the problems. In every case, before simplification, before substitution in the, okay, so derivations or in problems, you have to follow the sign convention. Okay, the rule number 1 says that all distance are measured from the pole. Second was the distance measured along the direction of incident light are taken as positive, and the distances measured opposite to the direction of incident light are taken as negative. The distance measured in the upward with respect to x-axis is taken as positive, and in the downward with respect to the x-axis is taken as the negative. Okay, so this is called a sign convention, Cartesian sign convention. Okay, so in the next, okay, so we are starting our main important topics. Okay, before that, again we have to take certain definitions and terms here, like principal focus, focal length, radius of curvature, and you have to connect the relation between focal length and radius of curvature. Okay, so before going into the actual picture of the mirrors, we should know the mirror formula. That is nothing but the relation between focal length, object distance, and image distance. Okay, so let me take in the next lecture. Thank you for your kind attention.